Christmas morning, all right, there are going to be a lot of children wake up and they're going to have a Christmas present, okay, to celebrate. So I'm going to let David Mahoney tonight share with you a little bit about Children Outreach and Samaritan's Purse. And right now, Randolph County is a big participant, all right? But, you know, if your church isn't participating at this time, take back the word, take back what you hear tonight, all right? Because, you know, you can mean so much to so many by doing so little, to tell you the truth. So without any further ado, David, would you come on up?
Thank you. Good evening. I think you can all hear me pretty well. It's a crowded, wonderfully crowded congregational setting. But I want to, first of all, thank Chuck for the opportunity to share my faith journey with you this evening. As Chuck said, I could talk about Operation Christmas Child, but you'd also like to have a little of my testimony as to why I'm here and how I got here and what it's all about and why I'm so on fire for Operation Christmas Child. Before I do that, though, I want to really thank one more time the church, United Grove Christians Church, and all the people that put on this evening's event, the food, and everything. I've only been to one other meeting with you. That was back in May, and the food was great, so I understand why you all show up. Either your wives can't cook. You really need some good food. But, you know, we all go through different phases in our life's journey. That brings us to where we are today. And more important than just life's journey is our Christian ministry and our growth and our faith. As I come here tonight, you know, I haven't been around this many Christian men at one time. You know, it's amazing. I sat through dinner. I hear what's going on. You can feel the Lord's presence right here. Yes. And that, you know, it's tough to understand how that could really happen in such a great setting, and it doesn't happen enough. I wish you can do the same thing in Stanley and Albemarle and all the other counties, as we hope to be able to do things in the other counties through our ministry and our outreach that goes on there. But my Christian ministry, I guess, can best be summed up in maybe a little less non-Christian thought, but the thing is that maybe I can't change the world, but I believe I can change the world for somebody through my love for Jesus.
Amen.
And that's the way I've lived my life since I accepted the Lord. I'm going to bring you up to that very quickly and go through a little bit of my journey to that point. But my testimony probably is going to be a little different than many you've heard in the past. And not bragging, but I had a great life. I've been blessed before I even knew I was being blessed. And my road has been like all roads, has a few bumps in it, you know, as you go along the way. But quite frankly, it's been a great life that I've had and I've led. And I think part of that really goes to understanding what it is that goes on in life and a realization that when you let go and let God be in control, it really changes what takes place. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just quickly go through a couple of phases of my life. Young, grew up in a family that brought me to church on Sunday. Didn't get involved in church. Didn't have a Bible at home. Didn't pray that much, but I knew the Lord existed. And I grew up and went all the way through the high school years. And in my senior year, this wonderful lady transferred from one state into my high school. And I met her, and the flame was kindled and lit. And we fell in love, and at that point, our next phase started where we went to college. Both of us went to 2 different schools. And we stayed together, and we grew in our relationship. And upon graduation, a week after I graduated, we got married. And I've been married to the same wonderful lady for 48 years this past June. Which is interesting, right? once we got married, we started a new phase. And both my wife and I decided to join the Peace Corps and and we went to Ethiopia. It's like the Army. When you join, you want to do something, they tell you where you're going to go. It's not necessarily where we wanted to go, but they sent us to Ethiopia. And we wanted to, as you said, we're very blessed in this world. And even back in 69, 70, we felt that we needed to understand what the rest of the world was about. So we went over to Ethiopia and spent our stay. We had our stay there. And we found out early on there was a famine and a drought first and a famine back in 69 and 70. People were dying. People would get up in the morning and be dead on their doorstep. It was just, and the wheelbarrows would come by and pick them up. It was something that I had a tough time understanding, but it brought an awareness to me, which I'm going to get to at the end, is that these people didn't have any hope. They didn't know where to turn. They didn't know what was going on because they didn't know Jesus Christ even existed. And that's a situation we face around the world today. And that's one reason I'm involved in Operation Christmas Child, because we're trying to change that one child at a time, one person at a time. But when we came back from the Peace Corps, obviously, the real world came back in, and I joined a Fortune 50 company in sales and marketing. It was very successful. I moved from Connecticut to New York to Minnesota. And along the way, we had 3 beautiful daughters that God gave to us. But it was in Minnesota that my wife felt something was missing. She felt a void. And so she joined the church. And of course, I joined. As a good husband and father, I went with my kids. Because I thought, I'm in control of myself. I'm doing well. Things can't be any better. And then it was a Thanksgiving Day celebration. And at that Thanksgiving Day celebration, I realized that was God that really had control of my life. And that brought me to where I was. And that's really when I gave my life to Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And how it happened was they're passing a microphone around. And here I am, listening to all these people who are praising the Lord for all the blessings they had been given, and the troubles and problems in their life that He's been able to carry them through. And it dawned on me that, wow, I've had a great life. I met my wife in high school, married, had a great career, had children, had it all. But then it just dawned on me that, I wasn't in control. And the Lord had always been there. And I guess I had put the Lord on the shelf. And sometimes I think that's one of the greatest sins you can have, is not recognizing the Lord's presence. And understanding, if you know when you sin, you ask for forgiveness, but if you don't even think about it, you don't really care. And it was it's like a wow experience for me. And from that point on, I changed my whole outlook on life, that I felt that I could go out and make a difference in other people's lives through what I've learned up to that point and what I started to learn in a much deeper vein as I started to become part of Sunday school classes and Bible study and all those kind of things. So very shortly after that, we moved to North Carolina. And believe it or not, I'm not a native, you know that, but I've been here for over 30 years. And it's just a great place. And I came here, and I joined a church right away in Charlotte, got involved with the youth, did a lot of mission work with the youth and something called Appalachian Service Project that you may be familiar with. The mountaintop, with 3 daughters, you get to really get them to understand other parts of life and try to help and reach out and try to do things. And at the same time, getting involved in all the churchy things that we all get involved in. I also was the founding father for the Habitat for Humanity in Matthews, North Carolina. And as the sole fundraising chairman, the Lord blessed me with over $800,000 in my tenure. And we built 40 homes, 25 homes before I left, got the land, and changed the lives of people who were in a spiral. They didn't think they had any hope to make something of themselves in this world. And it's a great Christian ministry. It's not just, building homes, Jimmy Carter, you don't know him, but, it's building homes for the Lord. And it's really a great mission that we were involved in. So we did that, and then at the same time, during that period of time, my wife and I also did some mission work outside of the United States. And everywhere we went, the same thing hit us. The poverty, the despair, the loneliness, and the lack of understanding that there was hope, or there's somebody you could put your hope And so as a result, we then moved down here to down here to Baden Lake about 14 years ago, and that's the next place next to heaven, I believe. We live on Baden Lake, and we joined a church and got actively involved with this, again with the kids, with card ministry and with the food ministry and all of those kind of things that you all are doing. And what happened though during that period of time is that I did leave my company that I was involved in. Didn't have a job. I woke up one morning. Don't ask me why. I said, I'm leaving after 24 years. I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. My wife said, what are you going to do? I said, no clue. But I knew that the Lord would walk me through and help. And that's where the strength I started to gain. And when I did that, I ended up starting my own consulting firm through all the people that I had known. It's 24 years. They came up to me and tried to support me, and never advertised, never did anything. And my business grew. It was a great business. It's a very small boutique business. You know, I financed it. I had my own hand today, but I did my own little business, and I enjoyed life, and it was great. And during that time, I also ran into the big C word, and again, you know, my wife was concerned, the kids were concerned. I said, it's out of my hand. You know, I can't control what goes on. The Lord's in control. And today I'm cancer-free, 100%. I'm sure a lot of you have been there. All those things continue to happen in my life. And it all came to being because I start to understand and study the scriptures. I'm not quite as well versed as many of you in here, but I read, I study, I participate, and I try to use what I do and how I act and say, most of the times, okay, to share my Christian belief and my Christian faith. I don't evangelize on street corners and those kind of things, but it's through how I act, what I say, and how I interact with people that makes a big difference. And my desire really is to spread the word of the Lord Jesus Christ throughout the world. And it said in a couple of things that I read, it said, we are never finished with our calling until every person in the world has an opportunity to hear the gospel. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to offend anybody as I talk about this next couple of things. I know we have some sensitive thoughts, but take Randolph County. My research says there's 150 churches in Randolph County. There are 7 Christian schools, not all of the school churches, and, you know, Sunday school or the nursery schools or whatever that are out there in all the churches. There are 28 Christian outreach ministries that are registered, of which I didn't see yours on there. Okay, but there's 28, so I know there's probably 100. You know, for all the people that don't go through all the, you know, putting it on that web. There's a whole bunch of publications to read. There's Christian radio. There's more than enough Christian television. I guess you call it Christian television. And there's a lot of websites. So you would have to be living under a rock in a deep, deep cave not to know that the Lord Jesus Christ exists in Randolph County. But it really is your decision whether to accept the Lord or not. And we should never turn our back on any lost soul. That's our job. That's right. Is to bring everybody we can to understand the value and beauty of being part of Jesus' family. With that being said, I'm thinking when you look at other areas of the world where they don't even know, they can't even make that choice. You know, it brings tears to my eyes. I've been doing this a long time, and it chokes me up, especially when you see what's going on. And somebody, how many people have been out of the country on mission work? And then you know when you go to these countries what it's like, and living that life and not realizing that there is hope is really tough. So that really brought me to where I am today from the perspective that our church, Chandler's Grove United Methodist Church down in Baden in New London, they have a shoebox ministry. I'm sure a lot of you do. I'm going to ask that question later. But I wasn't able to go, but my wife went to the collection center, the processing center in Charlotte. And when she went, early on when we got to the church, she went, and they tell you who you're packing the box, what country you're packing the boxes for. Guess what country you're packing the boxes for? Ethiopia. And there was a young man who had received the box and gave his testimony from Ethiopia. And my wife was able to talk to him in his native language because we did know a little bit of it, even though it was many years later. But there's no coincidence. And that just set my heart in a position that said, I got to do this. Yeah. There's no way that could have happened 48 years later. Or 44 years later. Okay. And so when I did retire in 2011, I decided to start looking and working with Operation Christmas Child. Now, I want to give you some amazing facts about OCC. I think it's important. You've all seen these boxes, and you haven't. I hope you will as you go through and this evening. But this is the box, usually, or some facsimile that are packed. And the impact that this box has on a child is phenomenal. So let me give you some numbers. Unlike what we're saying in the beginning here, there are thousands. No, since 1973, I gotta read this, through 2017, 150 million shoe boxes have been packed and shipped to children struggling to overcome the effects of poverty, disease, famine, and war. And in 2010, OCC, or Operation Christmas Child, put together a 12-week Bible study that's conducted by over 480 trained either teachers or missionaries to the children who receive those boxes. And when they do the mathematics and they go through what happens, they all come in, they go through the session, and then either they do or don't accept the Lord. Last year alone, the average is 2 children per minute, somewhere in the world, have accepted the Lord Jesus Christ. Whoa. Amen. That's the impact of one shoebox. And I don't know where else you can have that kind of an impact. Not because I'm particularly interested in OCC, but that's just phenomenal. 2 children every minute. And they did the numbers and they all make sense. Now, the thing beyond that, though, is for every box that's given to a child, and they understand that it comes through and it introduces them to Jesus Christ, 5 other individuals, other than that child, are also introduced to Jesus Christ through their friends, their family members, their communities. So when you think about it, and they've done the numbers, that's 750 million people have been introduced to the Lord Jesus Christ through these shoe boxes. Now, how many people have converted, no one knows, because you can't figure that one out. Just, you plant the seed, and the Holy Spirit grows that seed, and you accept it, and you don't. But that's part of it. So that's really what we're here about tonight, is the power and the excitement that we can give to children outside of, now we have a lot of children here that need help. But trust me, the kids over here are like millionaires when you put them over in these third worlds. And most people realize that have been there or have read about it or have seen it. You see it on TV, they're tear jerkers, you know, and you wonder how can it be, and these kids are running through garbage cans to try to find a meal. It works. Matter of fact, we were over there, we were chewing gum, and we threw the wrapper away, and the kids were picking it up, licking it, just to be able to get a taste of something else. So when you look at those kind of things, you realize there is a great need, not just here, not just in Randolph County, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And we hope that you can think about that. Now, how many of you are already part of a congregation that is supporting the Shoebox Ministry? Phenomenal. That is great. What I'd love you to do is to go back and tell your church that we were very thankful for their participation. We'd like to see them grow it. Obviously, as we go into this new year, our goal in the States is over 1 million boxes to be packed here, Randolph County, packed in the United States, to be shipped over. Now, there's 8 other countries and 9 other countries that also participate in this worldwide. But I'm just focused on the United States numbers. So, if you have a church that's participating, I'm hoping that it might not just be a Sunday school or a women's group or a men's group, but it's a church-wide effort and mission. And if it's not, we have help, and I'm going to introduce them in a moment, to help you to be able to come out and talk to your congregation, share with them some of the excitement we have, and maybe even get a speaker who has received the shoebox to talk with them also, which is really kind of a dramatic thought process when you see it and hear it. But we really would like to help grow that as best we can. Now, for those who did not raise a hand and are not involved in a congregation that has a shoebox ministry, we would love to be able to show you how to start one. And there's a table over here when you leave. There's some handouts if you want them. But it's because it's done, it's been working so well, it's, not a lot of energy and creativity needs to go into it. It's all laid out for what you need to do. Almost all the materials are free. It's not something you have to spend a lot of money on. You have to spend some time. But so many people want to be missionaries, like to do a missionary outreach, but they can't for a variety of reasons. What better way from your church home or your own home to pack a shoebox and realize that when you send this, you're doing the same thing as a missionary would be doing out in the field. And quite frankly, those missionaries need it to be able to use this as a source to grow and share the word. And as you're probably aware, and I don't know the numbers, I was trying to get them, I couldn't find them, but you know, Christians are being martyred all around the world. Not here, I don't know how many have died here in the United States, okay, in the last 2 years. I haven't heard of that many that died sharing their love for Christ. But they are dying, and there's a war going on. And we need to figure out how can we stop the war and turn the tide. And that's really what we're thinking about as we go through this evening. And want to ask you to see if you can look and see how we can continue to grow in your congregations or start new ones. Now, I have with me two gentlemen. One, they're both on my team, or our team, I should say. And one, you probably know, is Lawrence Albright. Lawrence in the back there, okay, who's a member of this church and is a member of your organization. And Lawrence started this at his congregation last year. And they packed 133 boxes. And they had around 65 to 70 members. I know the pastor's here, so I'm going to say about that many. Okay, and that's quite a feat. And he's on fire. He could probably do a much better job than I can when I listen to him about how he talks and what he wants to do and how he can really get his congregation involved. So if you need some ideas, he has some great ones. Also with me, if you could stand up for a minute, is a new gentleman, Robert Chrisman, and he's from Sophia. And he's from Full Baptist Church. And the Lord just puts people in your life as you are. His church put 1,427 boxes.
Oh my.
Last year. Praise the Lord. How many members do you have?
300. Goodson.
Think about that, folks. 300 members on fire for Christ, on fire for another outreach ministry outside of their own community. And this year, I think your goal is 1,801. Remember, right? I put the 1 in there, and he believes he can do that. Okay. Now, collectively, Randolph County is the most contributing county that I'm responsible for. And my wife taught down here, and I've been involved in. You know, it's probably one of the most Christian counties that I've been associated with. My wife being a teacher and the way prayer is thought about, how people pray, and it's just different. You don't see it everywhere else. You go to Charlotte, you don't quite see the same thing, folks. You know, it's really a focus, and we're very blessed to be able to be part of your group and part of this evening's thing. A couple side notes. If you are interested or want to expand your ministry at the Northridge Church, which is on
North Fifth.
We're having from 10 to 12 this Saturday, we're having a Project Leaders Workshop. And we encourage anyone who may want to come and you go back to your churches, please, if you know the people before Saturday, just to say, hey, you can come and we can share a little bit. We're going to have a speaker there that received the shoebox also to help grow and continue to solidify it. Balfour is now the main collection center for this whole county, for the 3 counties. That's the center area. So as you really put your name on the map, for Operation Christmas Child. A couple things I did forget to say, and I really wanted to, somewhere in my notes, is when you look and read the Bible and you think about it, the things that really strike me, a couple of them from Mark 16, verse 15, that says, Jesus said, "Go to all the world and preach the good news to all creation." And in Mark 13:10, he said, "And the gospel must be preached to all nations." And folks, where I am in my life, in the phase I'm in, that's where I am trying to see how I can do that, as well as continue to preach in my own community, be able to reach out. I can't do it individually, but I can every time I pack one box, every time I speak to a group. So when you leave, if you have some questions, both Robert and Lawrence and myself are available. My card is there. Please take one, call me. We'll try to respond and try to be of some help to you. In your pews somewhere, there's a bookmark that looks like this. And the one thing I really ask, if nothing else, because I know this is a praying marriage society, is to pray for Operation Christmas Child. You turn over on the back. It's only one sentence long. Each day of the week, if you can add this to your prayer list, your prayer thoughts, and just pray. For example, today is Tuesday. It says, "Ask God to bless local volunteers who serve to collect, process, transport, and deliver shoebox gifts around the world." There are thousands of people who are involved in this particular ministry, and we're very blessed to have those type of volunteers. And if you're interested in wanting to get more involved as a volunteer, please see me. We have 8 or 9 different areas to be involved in. It's not just coming out and speaking and being a manager, but there's other things you can do to be able to be a big part of it. So in closing, 2 things that I want to do is to thank you for giving me the opportunity to show my faith journey. And second, actually 3 things. And second, I read a devotional every morning with my wife, and about 3 weeks ago, this was what the devotion had said at the end. "Don't ever say you have no opportunities. The chances are not missing, but you may be missing the chances to change the life for Jesus Christ somewhere in the world." Whether that's in the back door, or it's over in Africa, over in Iran. These boxes go to all those countries, most of which hate Christianity, and we really try to struggle to help them. And what I like to do, we have a short video, if we could play it, turn the lights down a little bit. It's about a minute and a half in closing.
A public bathhouse where we bathed.
Start at the beginning.
My name is Zhenya. I grew up in an orphanage. Once a month we would drive to a public bathhouse where we bathed. And between my age group of 30 kids, we shared one bar of soap. So at age 12, Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes came to our orphanage. One of my friends, he came rushing to me. He said, "Hey, we got the boxes." But specifically, what was most important to me, it had a bar of soap in it and a washcloth. And I specifically remember it was Irish Spring. It was special. But not only that, it was my home. At the age of 14, I was adopted to Texas by family, and that's where I learned of the people who packed the shoeboxes and their love to give to the kids through a shoebox. And through that, I knew God was real, and He was working to bring love and joy to those kids, the kids who needed it. I immediately wanted to get involved with it, and I did. I packed 2 boxes that first year, and I wrote a letter. And she simply said, long ago, I received one of these shoeboxes. Jesus loves you. So I hope that you would do the same.
Thank you all. God bless.
My granddaughter's 15, and we're raising her because of our son's work hours. He works 7P to 7A, and she's 15, so she lives with us. And the other night, she needed to get something out of my van, and she came and said, Papa, I need your keys. I said, you know where they are. They're in the same place. They'll always have them. And she went and got them, and the next morning, I couldn't find my keys. So what she did was, this is what I think, I'm not just talking about Christian people, I'm talking about the world in general. She didn't take my keys back. She didn't use the energy to walk 20 steps from the front door to my bedroom where she got my keys. She laid them there to front. When she came in the house, she just laid them right there where it was easy and simple, and she was just plain old lazy. It's exactly what had happened. And so I don't know how these scales run in our Christian life. I don't know how many rungs are on a ladder, and you start out when you give your heart to Christ, and then there's that next rung and the third. I don't know how all that works or how many there are. But there's a place that a lot of Christian men get to, and they absolutely just leave the keys on the third or fourth step. Lay them down right there. And yeah, hello. That was many years ago. Yeah, it'll wake me up. Why would I say that? Because somebody here needed to hear that. You know, some of you men practically quit living just because you just got downright comfortable. And when a man talks about children who are absolutely dead on the doorstep, it's almost like, okay. We should have jumped up and said, show me where to fill those boxes. Just something else real quick, and then I'm going to close. So I was driving to pick up my granddaughter in Thomasville, over there where her mother and sister live. In the hood. It's dark. And I had about 10 minutes to kill because when I tell her I'm going to pick her up at a certain time, I like her to have every moment she can have with her mother and with her sister. I had 10 minutes. And so I had always seen these buildings when I'm going down this highway. And so I turned into that area, and sure enough, it was the Baptist Children's Home. Of course, they had lights up around there. I don't know how many of you just need to drive, take a drive to Thomasville and ask somebody, and go over there, and here's what I'm telling you this for. Somebody had a vision to do that. Who's on our prison ministry team here? Raise your hand. Look at this, fellas. Men, I want you to look back here. You know what I immediately thought of? We could have had a village. We could have a village, and we could have houses. Thank you. We could have a village so that when those men get out of prison, they don't have to go back to where they were. I thought that immediately, and then all the other thoughts came in, like, well, you're 62, you don't have $1 million. Somebody has $1 million or $2 million.
That's right.
They built all those houses, and all those children have the benefit. I was so proud of the Baptist community and everybody who was part of that, just thinking about, look what that vision did for those children. Oh my goodness. Hundreds of bicycles lined up in a neat row. Everything clean. That's for somebody here. If you have a vision, you need to seek it. If you have something in the back of your mind, and regardless of what it is for the Lord, go get it. Pete, come up here and sit down real quick. So, back to school prayer night. So, started several years ago. The group that started it got tied up with stuff, and last year called us about 2 weeks before the prayer night, asked if Randolph Christian Men would like to oversee it. So we said yes.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
We've done it twice.
And
Yeah.
we led it last
You
year.
forgot something?
But we led it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we led it last year.
Amen.
There's 41 buildings, city and county schools, and have a prayer leader at every one of those schools the night before school starts at 7:30. This year, Sunday night, August 27th, 7:30, and it looks like it's covered. We were going to try to announce if we had 1 or 2 schools open, you could lead prayer, but it looks like we're covered. And if a week from now, 1 or 2 of those don't get back, probably send an email out and ask for 1 or 2. But look, rather than just sit and ignore what I want to tell you, go back to your pastor and tell your pastor, even if you have church on Sunday nights, it's okay. 7:30 on Sunday night, August 27th, find the closest school to you and go there and pray for those children.
Amen.
And the teachers, and the administration, and the staff, and the parents. Because, look, these kids, I mean to tell you, they're living in a different world, guys, than what we lived in. It was bad, it was tough enough then, but now it's different. So look, please do that. Please go pray at school on August 27th at 7:30. There'll be a prayer leader there, and they'll lead you in prayer. Last thing, I hope I've done what I'm supposed to do. Well, when you leave, there'll be 3 men at the doors.
Just have them find us up here, Chuck.
All right.
There'll be a group up here.
They're going to give you 3 pieces of information to take home. Please do that, would you? Now, the caps up here. God is so good in how He teaches us to pay attention to life. So a man in this room donated all of these caps. And at a yard sale, and the yard sale, it goes pretty quick, 3 or 4 hours and gone, and we packed up these caps specifically for tonight. Pete, do this in kind of a quick way. But this man right here who's now a brother, okay? He's a brother. Tell him about the Village of Barnabas, okay?
Yeah, my name is Melvin Pete Marley. I'm overseeing the CEO and founder of the Village of Barnabas. You might have seen us in the newspaper and didn't know what we was doing. And we was on the Fox 8 as well. In 2010, the day before Christmas, 24th, my son got killed in Ashburn in the barbershop. And I spoke at his funeral, and I made a commitment to the community that at that time that I would do something to help change these young men's life. It seems like children are a theme tonight. It's real caring, time and time again. So at the time I was living in Raleigh, and so I had an accident, and God brought me back to Ashburn, where I grew up at. And now, once the 2 kids, the McCrae brothers, got killed on January 1st, I said enough is enough. It's time that we do something. So we led a little group, me, Gene Woodle, and Dexter Trogan Jr. came up with the name The Village of Barnabas, because it takes a village to raise a child. But our motto is it takes a village to rewrite the story. Oftentimes these children are trying to live out a theme or script that somebody's given to them, Oftentimes you hear old folks say, you nothing, you're no good, you're never going to be nobody. We want to take that script away from them. They try to live up to that script, and that's not the script that God gives them.
That's right.
Every good and perfect gift comes from above. And a child is a gift from God. It's not that no man lays down and has a child. It's up to God that gives that child. So we want to give those children back to God. And it's going to take your help. It's going to take all of Randolph County to ensure that these young men live out the godly life and no longer try to live that thug life and their pants down. We want to take them to RCC, teach them how to dress, how to interview, how to do new resumes. I had to learn that with myself. So, and the thing is this, we all need mentors. I'm 51, I have a mentor. And you got 13 to 16, you making decisions, you need somebody to mentor you. Barnabas is the encourager. And he helped Paul throughout his journeys, all the missions. And we want to encourage them through their journey of life. So I ask that y'all also get connected with us. You can look at us on the Village of Barnabas on Facebook, or you can join us. And my partner, Gene Woodle, invited you to just give us $5 for his birthday, which was yesterday. And so, Sunday. So it doesn't take a lot of money, but we just ask that we look on there. We took these gentlemen to New Jersey, New York, and Philadelphia the 23rd of June. Some of them had never been out of North Carolina. And when they got to the bright lights of Times Square, they was looking around like, oh my God, it looks like daytime out here. I experienced this at 50, and when we brought them back, most of their mothers and grandmothers who were raising them had never been there. We wanted to go. But we are going to target the young men first, and then we're going to have a girls group. Like I said before, we all Christians. God says, suffer ye little children to bring unto me. These are the greatest of them all. So we have a new generation, like Chuck said. What they're going through in school is nothing compared to what we've done. By the time they're in the 8th grade, girls have already smoked more marijuana than the boys, and they've had a sexual encounter of the wrong kind. Boys don't know their sexual identity. We have to reach these children, quick, fast, and hairy. Yes. Now is the time. We can't wait another minute. We can't lose another child. I'm tired of going by those caskets. I had to put the white towel over my own son's face. A hurt thing. No man should ever have to experience that. You're not out of time. I don't care how old you are. You can still reach somebody. Somebody needs you out there. Amen? Amen. And I thank y'all for this experience.
I know that you've given an offering already, and I know that you may be short in your wallet, and if you don't have anything, it's okay. But I'm going to pray over these hats. I'm going to pray a prayer over these hats, and then come up here and stick whatever you have, $1, $2, a quarter, $100, whatever, put it in this box. Take you a hat, and we're going to give that money to the Village of Barnabas. We're going to bless those boys. Let me pray. Father, that every person that would wear this hat would have the mind of Christ. Every person that would wear this hat would have a covering over their life for the rest of their life. Every person that would wear this hat would be blessed by you, Lord Jesus. And if they pass that hat on, the same would be true for the person that wears the hat. Every person that wears this hat come to you, know you, live for you, do a mighty work for you. Every man in this room that takes a hat would be blessed of you, Lord Jesus, and would be putting a little bit of their money into the Village of Barnabas and for these young people. Lord, I thank you for every hat. I thank you for the man that gave these up. And Lord, I ask you now to send them in and the offering. And that's how we'll close the night out. In your holy name we pray. Thank you, Union Grove. Bobby?